if you deal with self-hate talk, like I did, I had been for like the past 2 years up until I want to say February this year, I really have been working actively to manage that. So, um, it's pretty self-explanatory, self-hate talk. I really have come to terms with my body and my weight gain after my hormones took a shit. I gained 40 pounds. I was doing all the right things, eating well, working out, drinking my water, my vitamins, all that stuff. So as you can see, it was really disappointing to me to see my body deteriorating or just not feeling confident in my own self, not being able to wear the things that I normally like to wear. Um, and as stupid as it may seem, like it's been a big deal for me, but self-hate talk can range from anything, like even also like negative self-talk, you know what I mean? Um, but part of the reason I've been able to get a lot better. I've I've done two things specifically. I have done a lot of tapping. If you haven't heard about it, look it up because I'm not I'm not the most savvy when it comes to the tapping. I've educated myself a little bit enough to know, but you tap on different meridians like here, 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 right here, here, in your wrists, your collarbone, so different areas of the body sends different signals. And essentially, what you do with tapping is you talk through a situation you are going through, have been going through, but then that you also love yourself and that you're accepting of yourself. Um, and then also like the end result, essentially. So that's what I did almost on a daily basis for months because it got really bad. And I know my partner was getting sick of it. And I was getting sick of it because I'm like, I don't like being in this energy of always hating myself and hating the way I look and all these things, right? I feel like I don't know how to describe it, but it's just like this fog. And I'm like, I can't, I miss my old self. I miss being lively. I miss, you know what I mean? And not having all these crazy thoughts. So tapping on the daily on my lunch was like my regime. And I know it definitely helped because when I would tap consecutively for like a week or so, 2 weeks, and then I would miss a few days, I could feel a shift. So I would definitely inform yourself about tapping. It did help me a lot. I haven't been as persistent with it the last couple of months, but I was very religious with it for months, and it definitely helped me just rewire some new beliefs essentially, right? I tapped on my lunch, sometimes also on my way like home from work or sometimes on my way to work. So you don't have to have any fancy equipment or any special place. Like you can literally be driving somewhere. So if you're like a mom and you're dealing like with postpartum depression or your looks or just you're not feeling confident about a project or anything, like anything you think of, you can tap. You can literally be driving and just tap with one hand the meridians as you say these things. And you can find her name is Gala Darling. She has a YouTube. She has a shit ton to choose from. I would highly recommend going there, but you can also inform yourself like here on TikTok or find other information of how and why, how to do it and why it works, etc. And then yeah, another thing which is not really a practice, I guess you could say, but I started thinking seeing myself as in like a third, excuse me, a third person. So I remember there's been a couple times in my life. I don't remember who it was, but I remember there was this one person who always like just shitted on herself. And it was to me at that point, I wasn't in this situation that I had been dealing with recently. And I was like, wow, like, no offense, but this is like getting old. Like, girl, like, get over it, you know? Obviously, not very nice. And when you're going through it, it's something else. But I would just think how, like, the energy, you know what I mean? It just shifts the energy. You feel weird, you feel put off, and you're like, oh my God, like, it can't help it. It kind of drags you down. And so I started thinking of myself as like my partner. I'm like, I, what would he, you know, feel like? Or I wonder like how he experiences me when I'm like calling myself like these names, or just pretty much talking shit about myself and my body, and like crying and getting angry and frustrated and can't even go shopping because I get pissed at myself and then I ruin the mood, ruin the day. You know what I mean? Like, I know I'm in it and I feel like 10 times worse because it's happening in my own head. But I imagine myself as my partner. Like, do I really like want my partner to be with a person like me? Like, what a drag, you know what I mean? And he never like really complained like that. So it wasn't like he's like, oh God. Like, he was just, obviously he was put off, and he would tell me like, I don't like to hear yourself, to hear you talking about yourself like that. And I get it. So I've been keeping that in mind. I did my tapping, and now when I want to say something like really negative, I definitely take a step back and I pause and I'm like I love myself, and I highlight qualities that I love about myself, whether it's physical, emotional, spiritual, whatever. And I really anchor in that feeling because it's hard. Because, yeah, we all have bad days. And some days, even now, like I don't talk like I used to. And even my partner, he's like, I like that you don't do that anymore. And I'm proud of myself. It takes consistency and it takes active work and conscious thought, but it's possible. And I feel so much better. I feel so much more at peace, and it just feels good not to hate yourself. So I recommend these to you guys.